Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to make the case for not cursing. All right. So, why am I talking about not cursing today? Well, there's two primary reasons I'm going to talk about not cursing today. And the point of this video is if you're out there and you curse on a regular basis, there's a couple reasons. The biggest reason is I have started to run across people who are defending cursing, saying that cursing is not an indicator. Cursing should not be an indicator that a person is a poor communicator. And I disagree with that. I really feel that cursing in public, right, when you're not angry, I take that as a very, very clear sign that someone is a poor communicator. And so so this is me advocating for, if you curse on a regular basis, do what you can to remove it from your speech. And I wouldn't talk about this, but I feel like 20, 30 years ago, this wasn't a debate. People knew that cursing was an indication of poor that person is a poor communicator. It really wasn't debated, right? But that has changed. And when the subject of cursing comes up, which mostly happens on Facebook, right? People, somebody will curse in a post and then somebody else will say, hey, stop cursing. And then people are like, that's just how I communicate. Well, my point is there's some real advantages to not cursing. So the first one I want to talk about is what just happened with YouTube. So if you watch YouTube, you're going to notice that within the last 3 to 6 months, there is a massive amount of people talking about what happened with YouTube. And what happened with YouTube is that overnight, within the last 3 to 6 months, very, very quickly, ad revenue went down, right? And the reason why was a whole bunch of companies were like, whoa, what are our ads being attached to? And they would just look at the channels that they were being attached to, and there was absolutely some political issues, like that people were saying, whoa, I'm not in support of this, but my ad is running on this video, right? And then they were saying, oh my gosh, the jokes on this are really foul and offensive, right? Well, almost all the time, the stuff where, I would say the Venn diagram on videos are getting pulled down from this, I would say the Venn diagram is probably about 80% where those videos are for video channels that swear and curse on their channel routinely, right? So if you curse on a routine basis, that's getting picked up in algorithms, right? And podcasts already do this. Podcasts have been doing this for years. It's explicit content. If you curse in your videos on a regular basis, then what happens is it's saying this content is not fit for everyone, right? Because they have to protect children at minimum from your content. And I would say tweens as well, right? So there's a portion of people where if you're getting a point across and your point, and you can make that point without cursing, there's now an objective, real reason why you should do that. And it's just been shown. So if you've been cursing for a long time, it just lost you a lot of money. Because YouTube would become a cesspool, and cursing was part of that. Cursing helped to build that culture where once the advertisers looked, they were like, oh my gosh, this content is horrible. And cursing was a big, big part of that, right? So that's one big one. The other advantage of one, if you curse, you have a better chance of making your point and being heard by advertisers on YouTube who won't, ask for your channel to be demonetized by YouTube, or you won't be algorithmically demonetized, because you have a better chance of not being demonetized, because that's one of the triggers that they use, right? So that's a big thing, right? But actually, that's just part of it, right? So overall, there's always a situation where you can essentially, if you choose to keep your words clean and not curse, you can always be heard by a larger audience, right? And so I talked about children and tweens also. There are a ton of people who find cursing foul and offensive. And you're making a point, you're saying all your words, and then you drop an F-bomb in there, or a C-bomb. I've even heard, exactly, the C word, or an S word, right? I mean, and this is another issue. The spread of cursing has brought the C word to public discourse, And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. That right there, that is a huge reason to get rid of cursing, is just like, so we can return to civil discourse, right? So there are a lot of benefits. So the issue is, if you're not aware of this, when you're cursing, a lot of times you're going to be in a group, and someone is going to dismiss you, right, and dismiss your point without telling you, and then just say, okay, I now understand that person is, brash and is a poor communicator, and their ideas are ill thought, right? Like, there are a lot of people who feel that if you use cursing in everyday discourse, they will dismiss your ideas outright, and they'll never have a conversation with you, never, right? And the reason why is, it's just now, one of the reasons I know this is I've recently been studying Jane Austen's work, and Jane Austen's work is all about manners, right? And one of the things is that you learn in there is there's a lot of people who think things quietly and never really say publicly what they think, but they take action on that, right? So if you take cursing and you remove it from your language as much as possible, you will always get a host of benefits that will flower from that choice. If you curse, it's the exact opposite. You will always have weeds growing up in your life that are causing problems, that are causing problems, and you may not even know why the problems that are occurring are causing. So, now, full disclosure, before I end this video, I do curse when I get angry, right? Which is terrible, and it's a bad habit, and I'm doing everything I can to remove it, right? And so I do curse, but it's something that that I do, that I'm ashamed of, and that I would never defend as part of civil discourse or just general public discourse, right? We need to remove cursing from general public discourse. And I think it's a really good thing to do, and we need to take this step. So I highly recommend to you not cursing. And the biggest reason why is, if you make that choice, you'll have a host of flowering benefits that come from that choice. And if you continue to curse, I truly believe you're going to have a host of disadvantages that you'll be aware of, and many that you will not be aware of. So go no cursing.